Hello and welcome to this special segment in CNBC TV 18. We're in Paris at the headquarters of Dassault Aviation, the makers of the Rafale fighter aircraft. India is buying 36 of these aircrafts in a government-to-government deal, and this deal has become controversial because of issues related to pricing as well as the kind of partners that Dassault Aviation has chosen in India. But to talk to us about all these issues which have been raised, we are now being joined by Eric Trappier, the chairman and CEO of Dassault Aviation in Paris. Eric, thank you for joining CNBC TV 18. Let's start by talking about the time when this deal was announced on 10th of April 2015. When Mr. Narendra Modi announced India's intent to buy 36 aircraft through a government-to-government deal, when was Dassault actually told, or when did Dassault get to know that India is actually not taking forward the MMRCA deal and is actually buying 36 aircraft to a government-to-government deal?
Yes, maybe to say a few words on what was the MMRCA deal. First of all, it was a request for proposal in 2007, and we were the winner of this big competition in February 2012 as a preferred bidder against all the other competitors. Then we have been discussing and negotiating from 2012 up to 2015. During the visit you are just mentioning, that was the discussions between the two governments. It's government-to-government discussion. Dassault was not involved at that stage in the discussion during the visit. We were told, like many of us, during the press conference in the evening, that 36 aircraft should be now be an option to be bought by India from France.
So, this 8 billion euro deal, Dassault, which is a major, perhaps the biggest aerospace company in France, the government did not inform you here that perhaps India will be taking...
it was a long day. It was discussion between the two governments about many subjects. And one of the results of the discussion between the two governments was to announce a wish and a will to acquire, because looked to be at that time already in 2015, an urgent requirement for Indian Air Force. This was told to us at the same time as a press conference.
Right. So, has the Indian government then explained to you why this 126 aircraft deal on MMRCA was not taken forward, or was it Dassault which told the Indian government that this deal is not working out, let's have some other format?
No, not at all. We were discussing, and look, we were very keen to get 126 aircraft contract, and we have been working so hard to reach an agreement about this 126. For many reasons, the deal didn't go through.
What were these reasons? Because you already had a discussion going on with HAL,
yes.
and we understand that in 2014 there was a work share agreement that was signed between you and HAL. That is what the media reported in India in 2014. So what kind of discussions you had with HAL between 2012 and 2015?
The request for proposal was very clear in 2007, and we won on this request for proposal. The deal was that we had to make an agreement with HAL, because HAL was officially the lead production agency for manufacturing. So we had to talk to them because they were in charge of the local production assembly line of the aircraft in their premises. So we had discussion with them for a long time.
So 2 days before this deal was announced here in Paris, the then Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar in a press conference said that, and I quote, my understanding is that there are discussions between the French company, that is Dassault, our Ministry of Defence and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So Dassault was still in discussions technically with the Indian government and HAL.
I would not say that we were in discussions, because in the last few months before this announcement, the discussions were not anymore very active.
With HAL? So why did the discussions...
With the government of India. HAL was part of the government of India. We had discussion with the government of India and discussion with HAL, and we had a detailed work share with HAL. And HAL, I have to say, he has always been a good partner with Dassault. And myself, I know very well HAL. I worked with HAL from 1990, so I have great respect to this company.
So no, why did discussions between HAL, you and the MOD come to a standstill? Because that's what you were indicating before about a couple of months.
Well, you have to ask the government of India. For us, if we could have signed a deal, we would have been happy to sign a deal for 126.
So there was actually a HAL Dassault work share agreement. So clearly you were getting ready for MMRC.
There was a kind of discrepancy, which was I was ready to take the responsibility to transfer the license, with taking the responsibility for the first Rafale to be produced in India, but not for the 126. This should have been the responsibility of HAL.
Right. So,
like it is with the
guarantee
Mirage
by
2000
HAL,
upgrade.
guarantee
by HAL. Yeah.
Was an issue in the discussion.
Was an issue maybe between HAL and government of India. I don't know. That's
Okay, I'll come back to HAL and issues related to that. But now let's focus our discussion on your partner, that is the Reliance Group. About 1.5 years after the deal was announced here in Paris, there was a formal announcement regarding the joint venture, that is Dassault Reliance Aerospace Limited. Now, once Mr. Modi made the announcement in Paris, which that there will be a government-to-government deal, did you start talking to other Indian companies regarding a potential joint venture, or did you directly go to Reliance regarding talks for a potential tie-up?
No, I have to say that, as I said before, we are very proud to have been able to be the supplier to India for the last 65 years ago. So it was important. But when we started to work in 2007, we knew that we had to set up facilities in India.
But that was for the MMRCA?
By ourselves, yes. That was with the MMRCA. And we started to discuss with local companies before the announcement of the success of 2012 year. So we started the discussion with Reliance in 2011. We signed the first agreement with Reliance in 2012. To be precise, because I know that you like us to be precise, we signed as Dassault an agreement with Reliance in February 2012. So that was a long time before this government, that was a long time before Mr. Hollande was President of France. It was in February 2012 we decided with Reliance Group that because Dassault wanted to set up facilities in India for different reasons, to be ready to produce maybe one day the Rafale, but to also to produce Falcon aircraft, because we believe that India is a good country for us to develop our supply chain with our partners. So we signed an agreement already in February 2012.
So how is it that you were talking to HAL and Reliance at the same time?
Yes, we were talking to HAL, including Reliance, to be our partner. There are many documents in the discussion with HAL. HAL was supposed to be the lead production agency.
What does it mean when the lead production agency?
That means that they are in charge of delivering the aircraft produced in India to Indian Air Force under a certain share of responsibility between HAL and Dassault. But at the same time, we were totally ready to set up facilities with Reliance already at that time to produce wings, to produce a certain number of parts, as if Dassault, that was Dassault India, to produce a certain number of parts, because there are many companies which are installed in India to develop their own capacity. So we wanted to develop our own capacities in India to be able to produce our products in India. And it was all along the discussion with HAL. We were in discussion with HAL, but we were already with Reliance at that time.
So HAL was also aware that you are in talks with...
Yes, of course. But they wanted to talk to us, which is quite normal.
Okay. Then my question to you, sir, is...
Then for the 36, when there was a change in the policy to say, okay, now it's urgent, we have to go ahead with the 36 aircraft. This was told to us by the French government, and then the French government sent a proposal in July 2015 on behalf of the French government to government of India. And for us, it didn't change anything. I wanted, and I still want today, to set up facilities in India to produce my own parts in India, because India could be a very interesting country for effectiveness of and cost of my products.
Yeah, that is understood. So Dassault has over 100 years of experience in aviation. You have a certain kind of SOP that you follow when you produce products.
Yes.
It's an aerospace sector, which means that absolutely no margin of error.
Yes.
The company has to have R&D. The company
Exactly.
has to have a good idea about the kind of products that are being produced. Why is it then that Dassault decided to go with a company which was primarily into infrastructure sector, because they did not have any experience in manufacturing a sector, and specifically in aerospace? Why is it that you decided to take a company without any experience as a partner in India for producing, complex structures for an aircraft like Rafale, which is, a 4.5 generation fighter aircraft?
But look, it's not only Rafale. It's, for example, Falcon. And Falcon...
But Falcon will come later.
No. Look, not later. At the very first day, we had, in our view, to produce Falcon in parallel with Rafale. This is how our company is organized. When I produce wings of Falcon, I also produce wings of Rafale. It's the same standards and the same workers, the same design office, the same people. So when I wanted to set up facilities in India, I wanted to start from scratch. This is why we
that is fine. You can
from
always...
scratch.
Yeah.
Why? Because we will transfer our know-how. We will take the lead, the industrial lead. We will guarantee that the lead time will be the best one, because for Falcon, I cannot wait. I have customers who want their aircraft. So I wanted to set up facilities which I could manage in terms of industry. So what I needed is a partner which could give me land available in India, very close to an airfield, which is the case in Bhuyan, Nagpur. And that was really the choice we made, like others go to Tata or go to some other companies, and we start from scratch. If I take the example of Dassault System, which is a computer, which is software, they have their own subsidiary in Bangalore, for example. I wanted to have Dassault India, but I joined with a company which is a big company in India.
That point is taken. You wanted to start from scratch. You wanted to produce, complex aerospace structures for the Falcon,
yes,
for the Rafale, which is a, advanced aircraft. But I'm still not getting what you say regarding choosing a partner without any experience. Is that how you choose, your supply partners?
One day you have to start. This company, Reliance, which is a big group, said, I wanted to start in aeronautics, and we believed that the private sector in India should develop. I said, I want to produce some parts, and it's my interest, because if I start with Falcon, it's not only to get contracts for Rafale. I need to be on time with the quality standards, because these are Falcons in the international market worldwide. It's a global
See, the indication
company,
that I'm getting from you...
I wanted to, like it would have been a factory of Dassault. So for me, Nagpur is a factory of Dassault. But I took a partner who really want to develop also in this field for the benefit of India.
No, that is understood. So the way I see it from your response is that what they brought into the table is actually real estate, land close to a runway. And at that time, the issue was, servicing an offset contract, making parts. But for that, you do not need actually a runway. You only need a factory. Again, my question to you is, how does a company then contribute to a joint venture like DRAL, where experience is needed?
The choice of Reliance is mine. I had the choice of Reliance in 2011. We signed first MOU in 2012. We continue to have discussion during the MMRCA with Reliance. When the contract was announced for 36 aircraft, continued to have agreement with them because my policy, my Dassault policy, is to set up facilities in India. And I want to produce from scratch a Falcon 2000 in India, including the assembly line of the Falcon 2000, including the flight testing, production flight testing in India. For that, I need an airfield. How can I do an assembly line without an airfield? And as you know, Bangalore is very busy. It's a busy city. It's a big city for aeronautics, but there are no land available. This is HAL. So the same story in Mumbai, same story in Delhi. I found out that Nagpur, in the middle of India, with land available in order for us to build up new hangars, to build up facilities to be able to exercise the manufacturing of Falcon parts, of Rafale parts, and including one day assembly line, would be a very good idea for my company.
So this is a 51-49 joint venture, right? 51 by Reliance, 49 by Dassault Aviation.
Yes.
But you are telling me that it's actually Dassault Aviation which would have taken the lead, would have transferred the technology.
You know,
so
for some commercial reasons, we decided in our discussion with Reliance that because we are in India, it would be better that it was an Indian company to get the majority, so the 51%. In this 51% and 49%, the shares are almost equal. I send my know-how of industry in this company, and Reliance with their people organize the setting up of the facilities because they know better their country than I know. But obviously, starting from scratch, we ask to join the company a CEO. The CEO of the company is someone who has experience in aeronautics, 25 years of experience.
So
it's a new CEO
of DRAL?
Yes.
But the press release just said that you are the chairman. I mean, press release that Reliance said...
I have to tell you a few words. Maybe it's a problem of English, but I think in England it's the same. The chairman is a representative of the shareholders. So I am the shareholder of the JV, like Reliance, they have the shareholder of the JV. But you need operating officer. The CEO is the chief executive officer. So the man who is running the JV is an Indian engineer who has 25 years of experience. He started to get workers. We have already 50 workers now. We trained them in France. We have on-the-job training there, and this JV should be up to 800 people within 5 years from now.
Okay. Again, I just wanted to understand before I move on to the next topic. You said Nagpur was a critical place.
Yes.
And Reliance gave you land, offered land next to an airport. But there are other defense companies in Nagpur as well. Like, you have Mahindra, which has got significant experience in defense, has got land in Nagpur. Yet, you chose, a company which is...
Maybe there are many other companies. Like, for example, our idea in 2008-9 was maybe to go with Tata because we have had a very good experience with Tata. But that time, Tata also had no experience. Tata was discussing a lot also with American companies, in this big competition of MMRCA before 2012. Everyone has been approached in the private sector. Everyone has been approached by another competitor. So for us, it looks like Reliance could help us to get what we wanted, not only in terms of producing Rafale, but in terms, because producing Rafale at that time was more with HAL, but for us it was important to set up facilities as a French company to be in India and to produce the parts for my requirement. So it was very important. But it's not only Reliance. If you want to talk about offset, it's also many other companies.
So let's discuss this offset part, because there have been several figures going around. You know, press release upon press release and presentations by Reliance, you know, it says that you know, the DRAL is the key offset partner for the 36 aircraft deal. What actually will be the share of DRAL in this you know, €3.5 billion offset package?
It's a key partner because I will produce aircraft, as I said before, but it's not the only one. Roughly, we need to perform 50% of the value of the contract is our obligation in terms of offset. This is the law. This is what we call in your country DPP.
Yes.
So we are totally in line with this DPP. To be precise again, the DPP is a DPP 2013 rules. We follow the rules. 40% today of our obligation of 50% are already identified in order to create the value to answer to this requirement. Among these 40%, we have already signed 30 agreements with companies, not with the GV. GV is one. We have 30 other companies with who we have already signed today. And we are in discussions with 70 others. And it's all around India. It's not only in Nagpur, it's in Nagpur, it's mainly in Bombay, Bangalore, New Delhi. We also are starting discussion with the RDO in order to also to have technology, also to have development.
So how much of this 30,000 crore goes to DRAL then?
DRAL is only 10%.
So 30% of 10%?
10% of the 40%.
40%.
Today.
So that comes to around, in terms of euro, around 3.5 billion euros.
Make your computation. That's up to you. What I may say is, for example, the value of the contract is.
It's not 30,000 crore. It's not 3.5 billion.
Look, it's
euros.
a G2G contract, so this information shall be released by the two governments, not by me. I am only behind the French government to perform the Rafale contract. As far as the offset, I know my obligation. I know the value. It's per contract. The contract is also between government of India and Dassault.
So 10% of 40% of this offset package.
But for example, to give you a value of the GV, because I know that you are looking at what we are doing in the GV. The GV today is roughly the capital of the GV, 70 crores, 70.
Right.
Should go up to 850 crore. 50%, 51% with Reliance, 49%.
So roughly you bring in around 400
This is the capital investment. But then this company will produce by the manufacturing parts for Dassault, will produce about 10% of the value of the offset obligation we have already set up.
So when will this production start? Because
it has already started.
In Nagpur?
We started very quickly. You know, when we signed the deal in 2017, then immediately we started to work. We created the GV beginning of 2017. It was according to our previous agreement, including the initial agreement in 2012. And we decided to go fast, to build up a temporary hangar in order to put our new workers and to train them. We did it. But the big hangar we need to build up, the decision was first we had to select companies to build up the hangar, the specification of the hangar. We did it. And that was launched last summer. And this should be operational next year. But the first part of Falcon, which is going to be totally produced in India, is before the end of this year, 2018.
So, you said around 850 crore will be the capex in this facility, right?
Not the capex, the capital, yes.
Capital investment. But, this group has been under tremendous financial stress. Wasn't Dassault aware of that? Has it?
Look, I am talking to the group Reliance.
Right.
Is a big group. Is a family group, like Dassault is also a family group. And they have some activities going well. They have some activities maybe not going so well. Okay, but the group is a financial group.
But that has to be your JV has to be financed. The CapEx has to be financed.
But it is. Look, it's working.
So there has been no problem as far as their.
Look, don't mix up what is done today. It is done. We are going to produce. So the capital is there.
I'm not asking about Dassault.
The capital is there.
Put in the capital.
Yeah.
What about from the Reliance side?
Same, 50-50 roughly. So the land is there. And it's good. We don't have to buy the land. We have the capacity to operate. We rent so it's really operational with the capital investment I told you.
So going by whatever public information was put by the Reliance Group regarding this offset package, saying that they are the lead company, do you think they went a bit overboard by not explaining this? What you have told me?
No, they are not saying they are the leader company. They say they are a major.
You're saying the key offset partner. That is
yes,
what they
key offset partner. I agree. Key offset partner. Of course, they are going to produce parts of aircraft, so it's key.
But there are other companies. You said you are already in talks.
There are 30. I have the list. Yeah. I may give you the list of the 30 companies already signed today.
Right.
You know that we have some time.
What's the difference between the key partner and these companies?
We have some time to perform offset in front of us.
Right.
And we are in discussion with 70 others. We have set up also offices in Bangalore in order to gather our supply chain. As you know, because I met you last time, when I was in Delhi, I was headed as I am the chairman of the French association, including all the French companies, not only the big ones, but also the SMEs, also the equipment manufacturers, the complete supply chain. I visited India with 80 companies in order to support them, to find out partners in India. We went to Bangalore, we went to Mumbai and New Delhi.
So because
they are partners. Key partner is because aircraft.
Because the aircraft will be manufactured.
Yes, aircraft is important. Yes.
So which means that for
it's
any
key.
future,
it's key for me.
For any future deal that you may have with Indian Air Force, Indian Air Force needs 110 aircrafts. 56 is for the Navy. Clearly, Dassault will be bidding for them. Will DRL be the preferred company through which you'll be taking this, or are you open to looking at other companies as well?
Today we are for 36.
Yes.
The 36 will be manufactured in France, but we start facilities in India for my own request, which are Falcon and parts of Rafale, and this could contribute, and this will contribute to offset policy of India.
Yes.
Number two is obviously we are wanting to go ahead with 110.
Yes.
We are at the level of a request for information, both for Navy 57 or for the Air Force 110.
Right.
We are not yet at the time of contracting, neither to get a request for proposal. So we will see the rules. The rules of the previous contract was DPP 2013. We follow the rules. Now, the rules are, I don't know, we are at the level of a request for information. So we will see
have to
how
India...
I am ready to manufacture Rafale in India. I want to do it. I wanted to do it within the MMRCA deal, so I still want to do it.
Will DRL be the preferred company to take any future manufacturing, or are you open to talking to other companies, private companies, or be it a company like
For me,
HAL?
it will be logic, because if I start to manufacture Falcon in my JV, and as you know, and as I told you before, in our standards of manufacturing here in France, when I am able to produce wings for military aircraft, I do the same for my civilian aircraft. So why not to do the same in India? But before to tell you I will do, I need to know the rules.
Okay. Now, quick question on the price part. Again, this is one issue which has been questioned a lot. The Congress government who was there at the time, the party now claims that the price of the MMRCA deal per aircraft was around 526 crore. For the new deal, it is around 1,617 crore, almost three times more. What explains this increase in price between the MMRCA deal and the new deal?
But this is totally false. We didn't increase the price. I explained to you. I don't want to come into the details of the prices because, as I said, it's a G2G deal. And this is up to the two governments to be able to disclose the information. But what I may say today to you and to those who are listening to you is very clear. We had in the MMRCA 126 aircraft. Among them, 18 were supposed to be flyaway.
Yes.
The price of the 18 is per aircraft the same as for the 36 when we delivered the first proposal. Okay, so no increase of the price, same.
So it is
no increase of price. Wait, and then we started negotiations. Then during the 2 years from 2015 up to 2016 of signature of the contract, we have tough negotiation with the Ministry of Defence as usual, and we were able to decrease the price of 9% on the total package. So, number one, I repeat, same price for 36 than before for the 18, same unit price, and then a rebate of 9% on the total package of the contract. So those who said we have multiplied by 3 the price of the aircraft, I cannot understand.
So where was the package for the MMRCA deal, and is the package for the new deal in terms of the kind of equipments and weapon systems that will be used, are they the same or are they different? Very
close to be the same if you are discussing about the 18. If you are discussing about the 126, it's different because you have jigs, you have tools, you have documentation, you have license fee, you have many other matters which are not anymore in the 36 deal because it's flyaway.
Right.
So if you compare flyaway to flyaway, 18 flyaway compared to 36 flyaway, unit price of the aircraft, including the support, including the adaptations of certain requests of Indian Air Force to the Rafale, non-recurring costs. This is exactly the same. And the same at the beginning.
Indian aircraft was supposed to be more and more expensive?
No.
When the Indian aircraft was to be produced in HAL under MMRCA?
That's something else. If you have a license, yes, of course, the aircraft manufactured totally in India, the 126, if you take an example, should be less expensive than the first one. Should be, because this is in the hands of HAL. It's not anymore in my hands.
Okay. So before I move on to the next topic, and these are the last
the aircraft
questions.
is not manufactured in France. It is manufactured in India.
Right.
So if you compare Apple to Apple, there was no increase of the price. More than that, there was a decrease of the price. There was a tough negotiation, minus 9%, on the total package of the contract. But as usual, do you believe that the civil servant of Ministry of Defence will not
but there were dissent notes
discussed with us, with the government of France, because the government of France was front and we were behind to support government of France.
Because there were sensitivities from even the MOD, Ministry of Defence, on the price that was negotiated for the government-to-government deal from the Ministry of Defence. Some officers actually dissented on the price.
Look, I know what I know. So.
Okay. Before I move on to the next part, how much money will then Dassault invest in India for DRAL? What kind of investments are you looking at?
What I told you.
Around 400 crores?
The maximum we should go is 850 crores for the GV.
CapEx.
Half of it is with me.
Right. Okay.
So half of 850 is 425 crores. Investment in the GV.
Still willing to talk to HAL on this 36 aircraft deal?
Of course. I have nothing against HAL, and I am a good friend of HAL, and Mr. Raju, I know very well, who made some statement in the press. We shared a lot of things. We spent some time together to discuss the 126, and HAL is a respectable company, but I want Dassault to be in India. So HAL is a government-owned company. I want to be in India with Dassault know-how, with my standards, which are the international standards. And I think that what I may give, what I may transfer to India is good for India and is good for my company.
Right. Mr. Eric Trappier, thank you for joining CNBC TV 18 in Paris. That was the CEO and Chairman of Dassault Aviation taking questions on issues related to the Rafale fighter deal. Thank you for watching CNBC TV 18 from Paris.